Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Victoria 2, the Grand Combination, with me, Alpha by Omega, and the Ottoman Empire. So, this is going to be the first view episode for our Let's Play. As I mentioned before, we skipped the 1846 mark because it seemed a little bit too short to draw any conclusions. And boy was I right, because some of the numbers are all over the place, but I can kind of understand that because, you know, the way the game works and simulates stuff, it is actually not as easy as you would have guessed to get some real statistics. I would also like to mention right in the beginning that if you miss anything during this review that you would like to see in the future ones, just let me know. Tell me what you would like to see and I'll make sure to backtrack. I have the save files so I can go back and add any statistics that you guys would like to see and show you what is going to happen. Now, I'm going to be using a big Excel file that I actually have open on my other screen, so I'm sorry if I have to do something like this or coming back because I have to switch between this screen and the other one, and I don't want to use the Alt tab because that one works a little bit poorly, but I'm going to make sure to insert all of the graphs that I created based on the numbers or the numbers themselves onto the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. So, let us start. So the first thing that I actually wanted to speak about is the population. We currently have a working population of 9.38 million with a total population of 37.54 million. As you can see the graph on the screen right now, the overall population has been going up consistently since the very start of the game. And the big jump between the 36 and 46 mark is actually caused by the fact that we gained a lot of territory from Egypt. So it's now considered part of our area. I think it was this, maybe even this entire chunk. I don't actually remember which parts we gained, but I know it was most of the Levant area and the surrounding territories. So that's where it comes from. Now, we can see the workforce split over here. I'm going to put another graph on the screen. Actually, I'm going to put two there because you will see that we have a huge number of farmers and laborers, but the rest of them, the artisans, intellectuals, and others actually are a little bit hard to read because of the major difference of almost 70% and then 1.4, 1.3. So I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you to see the differences. Now you can see that the amount of farmers is actually increasing. That's something that I was not at all expecting. We started with 67.9% of our population being farmers, and right now we have 69.5%. That's something that I absolutely did not expect. I thought that the farmers would be dropping quite dramatically, maybe not by a whole like 10% per decade, but I was expecting at least 1% or 2% drop. But it's true that the mechanization and change in the overall structure of the economy happened mostly in the 20th century, or at least at the first half of 20th century it escalated. So we'll see if this continues. It's kind of interesting. I think it might be due to the natural fact that some of our population is having issues, speaking mostly about the artisans, to feed themselves. So they might be demoting to farmers. That is, in my opinion, a possibility that you can see happening. It's hard to track. I'm not entirely sure which pop demote or promote to which, but I would bet that farmers are seen. Actually, when we look at the taxes, what am I doing? Budget. We should see. Oh yeah. Okay, so artisans are seen as middle class, and farmers are seen as lower class. So I would bet that artisans are demoting to farmers. That would explain why we have an increase, because farmers are probably seen as the lowest class of population that can feed themselves if these guys are starving. Makes sense in a way, but it's just conjecture. I don't know. I never really delved that deep into the workings of the pops. but that's what I would expect. You can also see that laborers have been increasing from 17.7% through 18.2 to 18.4% now, and we have been slowly losing artisans. That's again due to the fact that they are struggling. If someone is starving, it is an artisan. So unfortunately, we'll be seeing less and less of them. But this is in part turning into a benefit of a sorts, because you can see that the craftsmen are now 0.2% of our population. You can see them over here, and this number is only going to be increasing as we continue building up the factories. Intellectuals had a spike of 1.2 to 1.7%, then they dropped to 1.4. Not really sure what caused it. Might be the cuts to the budget, or just the growth of the population in general. We're not keeping up with it because we're, growing like crazy when it comes to population. Landowners, they're relatively stable. Soldiers. Oh boy, soldiers. Yeah, we went from 2.5% to 1.2, which is one of the reasons why we lost our great power status, unfortunately. Well, this whole reactionary experiment is not going as well as I thought, but I'm gonna speak about this a little bit later. Now, the good news is, when we look at religion, that we have been increasing the majority of the Sunni population. We started with 42.6%, and now we have 46.4%, even despite the fact that our population is increasing dramatically. Now, do we see any religious map here? Actually, I have never tried to look at that. I'm definitely sure that there is one, but nope, I guess really? There's no religious map more? Because you can see the ideology, culture, but no... Oh, interesting. So religion is completely... Okay, never mind then. Religion is completely divorced from the regional structure. You can see that Eastern Orthodox, as the second biggest religion, dropped significantly between 46 and 56, from 36.4 to 33.2%. We've had a little bit of an increase in the Oriental Orthodox, but I think that's because we gained a lot of territory. And otherwise we keep the numbers fairly, normal. One thing that I'm kind of surprised is the increase in Catholic population. We started with 3.8%, then we dropped over there, now we're at 4.4. Maybe that's part of us gaining territory. Could be because some of the lands are definitely predominantly Catholic. Now, the most important part, and that makes me really happy, is the population. You can see, not the population, but the culture of the population. Now, when you look at the graph that I'm going to put on the screen right now, you can see that the Turkish culture started at 27%, but then it dropped significantly to 24.8%. Now, this is definitely because we gained a lot of new territory, so no worries. And now it's at 26.6%, so it is increasing, and quite quickly actually. The assimilation of 1.8% population within 1 decade is actually pretty nice. The Greek population has been dropping like crazy from 15.1 to 12.3%. Bulgarians went from 12.9 to 11.2. Armenians actually went up, which is interesting, but again, that's because of the new territory that we gained in the east, from 8.6 to 8.7%. Serbian also went up, but remember that's because we gained some territories from Serbia as well. We got Albanians dropping, Mashriki, Kurdish increased a little bit from 3.8 to 3.9, and Bosniaks dropped from 2.8 to 2.4. Now, I'm not going to be tracking the minuscule population, but there is still a lot of others. There's Syriac, Bedouin, Georgian, Alibi, Pomak, and Assyrian, but I decided to make the cutoff at 2.5%, so these ones didn't make the cut, but they're there, and we also have 5.2% of other, which we cannot really see here, but yeah, they're there. Now, when it comes to the ideology, that's one thing that actually surprised me greatly, because I thought that by taking on the reactionary government, we would see a huge increase, but no, reactionary is 4.3. I mean, yeah, we started with 4%, but having only 4.3 is actually pretty bad. What happened in the meantime is that conservative population dropped from nearly 80% to about half, to 50.7, which is kind of weird, but again, what can we do? And liberals increased from 12.5 to 36.9. Radicals went from 3.7 to 8.1. Now, I'm not going to be pretending like I'm doing good in this Let's Play. I went into this with the idea that we are going to be a reactionary empire and see how it's going to go. And how it's going is really bad. We have had constant revolts. People are literally rising against us everywhere, and I don't think this is tenable in the long term, but I'm not entirely sure what we could do. Now, one thing that I could do eventually is just switch from reactionary to conservative and play it as a mix between reactionaries and conservatives, eventually maybe even going back to reactionary when the situation improves a little bit, but we'll see. For now, one of the ideas, we'll see how it's going to go, if the situation calms down or not, but it's my backup plan to just go back to conservative if it becomes too dire. But the fact that the liberals are rising so fast, and so are the radicals, yet reactionary are not, even though they're the governing body, I find that hard to explain, but I guess it just goes with the spirit of the first half of the 19th century, which was full of liberal ideas spreading. We'll see how it's going to change. This is going to be a very interesting to look at as we go forward, because socialism is going to come, communism is going to come, fascism, some other ideologies will come around. So we'll see how it's going to be split. I'm really interested in seeing that. Okay, now we move to the other part, which is production. Now, the production here hasn't been really initialized yet, so what I did was I took the numbers after just letting it run. I kind of suspect that it initializes a little bit differently every single time, and the reason for that is what I'm gonna show you right now on the screen. I'm gonna put a number of graphs here. I actually managed to, I mean, there was really no other way than to just put everything in the table. So I'm tracking military goods, raw material goods, industrial goods, and consumer goods separately, and you will see them all on your screen. You can see that the numbers are all over the place. It keeps changing dramatically, going up and down, but there are some trends that we can see. First, in regards to military goods, we started with a lot of production of canned food, which killed itself, I guess, because of the imports, and also because we do not anymore fully fund the military most of the time. But the other things started to take off a little bit between 1846 and 1856, so hopefully that's going to get better, especially if we manage to build more factories. I kind of like to see the impact of, for example, small arms industry, but these ones require certain things that, small arms could be done, but we would probably need alloy factory first. Alright, this one, it's possible. It's possible. We could do this, but I'm trying to build up the chains from bottom up and see what's gonna happen. Now, when it comes to raw materials, you can see a dramatic increase in some numbers. So precious metals are going up, which is great. You can see sulfur increasing a little bit, which is also great. We're producing way more coal and way more metals, which is also good. Wool has been going a little bit down, but I don't really mind that. And now there's no oil, no rubber, nothing like that. Wood has been on a slight decrease, but again, that's a secondary product. Now, when it comes to industrial goods, when you look at the graph without timber, which is the second one, you can actually see that there is a ton of things that we are producing. Now, alloys, cement, we're not producing any machinery, glassware, all seems to be going up as a general trend with small decrease in fertilizer, but it's fine. Yeah, generally speaking, it's fine. It's fine. It's going up, and there is too early to say more about the general trends, but maybe we would see a little bit more if I tracked it on a more of a, let's say, 5-year basis or something, but I'm not going to do that. It would be too much work, but still, in a couple of decades, we're going to see whether or not the production is going up. Now, the timber itself went up significantly from 207 to 590, and then dropped to 62. So that's a little bit weird. But again, I don't know what's happening with the economy. What we used it for? Maybe it was used for some projects that were finished. Really not sure. And last but not least, there's consumer goods. You can see that there's again a lot of changes, a lot of really big changes. I'm not entirely sure what to say about it. You can see that as a general rule, it seems to be increasing in the lowest strata of those where we produce less than 50 units. But some of them has been going down a little bit. We'll see. Again, I think it's a little bit too early to speak about this until we get more information, but the economy is changing a lot. It's obvious that it's very fluent, and the productions are very, very interesting, and we'll have to see what they bring to us. And last but not least, I want to look at the great powers, which is a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie, but there has been some massive changes recently. Now, we started with the order: United Kingdom, Russian Empire, Kingdom of France, Kingdom of Russia, Austrian Empire, Ottoman Empire, United States of America, and Kingdom of Spain. Now, of these, the Ottoman Empire, which was originally 6th, dropped to 8th position in 1846, and now we are 18th. Actually, it says 20th, but when I was looking at it and making the numbers, it showed us as 18th, so not sure what that's about, but I'm still marking us as 18th. Kingdom of Spain also dropped from the table. They were 8th, and then they moved one step up to the 7th position, and then they dropped off completely. Now they're a secondary power on the 10th position. And instead of us and Spain, we now have Kingdom of Sardinia and Kingdom of Bavaria taking those places. What's really interesting is to see the huge disparity in scores at the beginning and now. United Kingdom started with a score of 814, and now they have 3,155. That's insane. They started with 264 prestige, now they get 924. They had 342 in industry, now they get 1343. And their military strength was 208, now they're at 887. That's insane. Russia started as the second biggest power, now they're 4th. But their starting score was about half. They had 661 points. 168 came from prestige, 0 from industry, and 493 from military. So they increased in everything as well. Kingdom of France used to have 441. Now they got 1645. It's insane. They, quadrupled, quintupled their score. It's crazy. When it comes to us, we're really having issues, which is what leads me to the fact that we just cannot maintain the situation for much longer, because our starting prestige as Ottoman Empire was 59, so we're about a little bit higher at 79, which is fine. Our industrial score was 0, now we get 12, again, that's fine, but our military score was 143, now it's 52, so we literally dropped like a rock to about one-third? Yeah, about 1/3 of the original score. So we have to really think about what we're going to be doing next, because this itself is untenable. It cannot continue like this. And if it does, eventually the rebels are going to win and either tear the empire into pieces, or, which is more likely, they're going to force us to do some things that I really do not want to do. So yeah, that's the first review episode. I actually wanted to go through the ledger to see if there's something that you guys wanted to look at. I'm gonna let this just slide so you can see the nations if you are interested in any of them. I'm gonna show you like this, who is where and what their situation is like. Again, there's unfortunately no way I could, transcribe all of this. It's just too damn high, but this is what it is. There's a number of national comparisons here. Actually, let's look at the population. That's something that I'm interested in. Yeah, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th biggest empire in the world. As far as population goes, it's actually not bad. And when it comes to provinces, we are 4th. Alright. United Kingdom has 91 factories. Who has the highest literacy? Principality of Schwarzburg. Alright. Well, I'm pretty sure we're at the bottom of the table somewhere here, yeah. Political systems, absolute monarchies. There are some theocracies. Actually interesting. Is there a constitutional monarchy somewhere? Yeah, there are some constitutional monarchies. Autonomous dependencies. There is a lot of republics and some theocracies. Political reform, society reform. We don't really need to. Let me see who has the most capitalists. United Kingdom. Alright, they got almost 14,000. United States got 6.2 thousand. We are nowhere near landowners. 1.8 million. Inching. Actually, we're 5th most prominent landowner country. And soldiers. Yeah. Yeah, we really lost a lot, but we're still at the top. So, I mean, not much is lost yet, but we're not doing good. Province populations, factories, production, price history. Unfortunately, this only goes back a couple of years, but prices seem stable for the most part. Country rank, that's fine. National comparisons, literacy. Oh, we've already been here. Alright, so these are all the graphs that there are. Alright, well, I thought that would be a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway, that's all for this review episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything missing, anything at all that you'd like to see, just leave it in the comments and I'll make sure to mention it in the next part. Next intermezzo, that is. So, till then, you guys, take care.